Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you for your time to click on this video. Anyway, today I wanted to talk about very interesting thing that I found, interesting topic, which is a certain theme, which is called Arch or Arch or whatever it is called. I don't really know or care. But what is important is the meaning of it. And it comes from philosophy, from ancient times, actually from Greece. It was invented by, I think, Thales, but no one actually, I think, cares from my audience, I think. Anyway, the meaning of it, and listen carefully, because you might not get it at first. The meaning of it is something that nothing is made from, but that gives beginning to everything. Now, you might not understand what it means. You might be like, what? But I think some of you might maybe understand after some reflection. For example, for some of you, it might be universe. And for example, I think, in my opinion, for Tesla, it was, as he said, vibration and frequency. Okay? Of course, there is very many examples of it, because it's something each one of us has to think about. So what it basically means is something that nothing is directly made from, but it's this kind of drive for either the life around us or for ourselves in life. It's something that drives every one of us in some way. And for everyone, it might be something else. Like in your life, for example, the main focus may be something very specific, but you might not know it. You might not know it even. But I feel like everyone in some sense have this. For example, it might be freedom. For someone else, it might be creativity. For some of you, it might be exploration. But those are very essential things. And I bet that most of you don't have this kind of value set in your life. Doesn't mean you don't have it. You just didn't come to it yet. And that is very important. Well, let me give you an example what in philosophy was such examples of art. As in for the world around us, okay? Because not everyone have it in their life. No, not many people think about it. Most people think about themselves and what the art is for them. But for philosophers, for example, it was fire, it was water, and for some of them it was atoms, which is materialism in a sense. But for example, for Plato, it was ideas. He thought that we live in a world which in true form is the world of ideas, of archetypes, which archetypes comes from the word arch, which I think might give you a clue if you don't still understand what is arch. So Plato, in his opinion, thought that each one of us just reflects the true world of ideas. But everything in a world is just ideas, archetypes. But each one of us reflects them in a different way, depending on who we are, what we've been through. Which is a very interesting thing. Because honestly, I came to that conclusion as well. That there's no truth. There's no truth, okay? I've been trying to find the truth for years now, months. But the thing is that it doesn't exist, because the moment I realize something, that something might be true, there is always a core argument against it or a different explanation. I might say that spirituality is the truth. But the thing is, someone might explain the things I talk about spirituality in their own viewpoint and in their own words. Because honestly, everyone has their own language, and you can never truly understand what a person might mean through the words they use. For example, just as not every one of you might understand what some people mean by universe. For me personally, you would never guess it, but for me, universe means just me. My higher self, exactly, because my higher self is the state in which I connect with everything around me. And that's why I call it universe, because universe is a state in which I am everything, not only myself, this body, this mind. Yeah, but I think like besides the arc of the world, we also, each one of us, have the arc of their own life and themselves, which is very interesting because arc just signifies a beginning, something that everything starts from. And for me, it just means a root of something. And I feel like the best way to simplify your life is exactly through finding that arc in everything you do. In everything, and I mean it. You don't do stuff for no reason. Believe me, there is nothing in your life that you do for no reason. There is always a reason why you do those stuff. And it might be many of them. Or why you don't want something, or why you should. Point is to go to the root of it. And that's also how you find this essential thing you are searching for in your life. Often also we want to find the arc with something we want or don't want, even through material stuff. Some of you might not know it, but it's very popular in marketing. The main rule is to not sell a service, but to sell an experience. To not sell a product, but to sell the experience, the emotion. It's a technique in which you manipulate someone based on their emotions. It's called needs, and that's how it is called for those who are not as experienced, probably in marketing. But more of an effective technique is not needs, but wants and emotions. For example, if you want to sell an insurance, you don't go to a person and say, hey, do you want an insurance? No. You go and ask, hey, are you worried that you will die in 5 years? Are you worried you will go into an accident? Do you want me to sell you some safety? Yeah, that's what they mean. For example, plastic surgery. Hey, you don't go and say, hey, do you want me to sell you some operation on your face? No. You go and ask, hey, do you feel ugly? Do you want me to sell you some beauty and self-love? Well, it doesn't really make sense, does it? But it does. Because if we want it or not, we can be manipulated. Unless you become aware of it. And that's why I think that it's important to find your own arch. Whatever it's called. The meaning, the root. And it works with everything, honestly. With everything. So each activity you do in your life, or everything you search for in your life, you do it for a reason. So, and it works with fears too, let me tell you, which is very important with actually healing traumas, which, by the way, most of us have, if you might realize it or not. each one of us might have even minor traumas, but it doesn't disvalue them. We still have traumas. We might not realize it, and we might not realize even what kind of trouble it might cause us in daily life. But let me give you a very interesting example that I think is very popular, and as I have experience with it, I think it's gonna be also a good example for Arch and why is it important. For example, let me give you an example of Arch in love life. For example, you might be single and you might have constant need to be with someone. Like you are out and think, oh my god, how much I would want to be with someone. I just want to be with someone. I want to be in a relationship, you know? And you want this so much, okay? But for example, let's go deeper into it. Why do you want to be in a relationship? And you might say, of course, it's just an example. Everyone has their own reasons, which might differ. But for example, you might say, well, I want to feel loved, you know? Like I want to have someone who will tell me I love you and who will tell me compliments and who will love me for who I am. But you know what is interesting? Is that want simplifies a lack of something, which we don't often realize. So let's go deeper. You say you want someone to feel loved, okay? But let's go deeper into it. Doesn't that mean that you lack love in your own life? And by life, I mean in yourself. Doesn't that mean that you're just looking for something that will fill you in because of your lack of self-love? Now, let me blow your mind completely. If you don't love yourself, if you have so many reasons to not love yourself inside of yourself, how the fuck are you gonna believe that someone loves you? How are you gonna believe in it if yourself you cannot find any reasons to love yourself, or you have so many blockages or so many reasons to not do so, to not feel so well about yourself? Are you really, 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 truly gonna believe that someone loves you? Really, are you gonna believe in that? Or is it gonna end up being your insecurities being reflected on someone? Aren't you gonna doubt everything they say? Aren't you gonna find the reason in their actions that they don't actually love you? Think about it. Do you maybe have this kind of problem in your life? Maybe it lightens up your perspective on things. Because I feel like it's very important. And I know that it sounds complicated. I know that some of the things right now I'm trying to tell you sounds complicated, but they're actually not. If you really think about it. If you go to the root of something, they are not. They became complicated over trying to fill in those holes through many, many things and actions and as a way to cope. And it might sound complicated, but the moment you actually go to the root, it's gonna really simplify it for you in your life. Now, do it with everything. And I mean with everything. With your actions, with your wants, with your don't wants. Because honestly, wants is just lack. And often when we want something, even material, it's not really what we want. Let me give you another example. For example, let's say you want money, okay? And I know everyone would say, oh, everyone wants money. I mean, you don't have to have a reason for that, okay? Well, you do. You do have a reason for that. So let's go deeper. Why do you want to have money? Why do you want to have money? For example, there might be a person who wants money because they want to have their own house. But why do they want to have their own house or apartment? Well, to go deeper, because they don't want to live with their parents in the family house. Now, think about it. So why do you want to move out? Why do you want to have your own house? Well, for some of you might be freedom. For some of you might be independence. So you don't actually want money. You just want independence. See how simple is it? And now imagine someone being so fixed on money that at the end they spend their whole life searching for money when they just needed that independence for that money, for that moment, that one moment. They just want independence. But they got in the process so fixed up on money that they spend their whole life wanting this money. Now for me it's sad. It's simply sad. Even in a simple example of looking for beauty. For example, we often want to do stuff in an easy way, okay? So for example, for some people, and I don't say all the people do it because of that reason, but some people, for example, want to do plastic surgery, but what they're actually getting is just a way to cope with something they lack inside, which is self-love. And because it's easier to spend money and do those little cuts or fixes on their face to feel beautiful, it doesn't actually fix the problem that is inside of you, the lack that is inside of you. It works the same way as in a relationship. You only use something as a way to feel loved or feel beautiful. But unless you don't feel that beauty inside of you, it's only a way to cope. Because it's easier. But now, let me tell you something sad. Something very sad. If you use, for example, a relationship for that, it's not a relationship. Because to love someone, it doesn't mean to use them for something to cope. Because in that way you only use them as an idea of relationship. You might like the idea of having a boyfriend or being loved or even the idea of being in a relationship or the idea of couple. But if you're so fixed on this, what you want, you forget about the person. If you're so fixed on being beautiful, you focus too much on material and on the physical beauty instead of feeling actually this beauty. Let me tell you, material beauty will never replace the beauty that you might feel from yourself. Okay, but to not go too deep into the examples, which I tend to do too much probably, let's focus on the actual thing, which is go to the root. Go to the root of the cause. Of what you feel, what you don't want to, what you want. Even in the simple things like living. Maybe some of you are depressed. Maybe some of you don't want to live. Maybe you tend to say all the time, oh my god, kill me, oh my god, I cannot live it, oh my god, I don't want to live, I want to die. Well, the point is, you want to live. What is actually the root of it, well, not the root, but to go deeper into it, you just don't want to live in the way you do right now. Doesn't mean you don't want to live at all. Everyone wants to live. The simple proof of that is just the fact that we are alive, that we got born, that we still live and move. Let me tell you, you can see it if someone is really depressed and they want to die. It's gonna reflect on their body. Bin that, don't that, not recommend. because you live, only because there is this will to life, there is this energy of life inside of you, prana, whatever, call it whatever, chi, whatever. But it's there because you really wanna live, actually. So if next time you say, I don't wanna live, stop it. Think, what do you don't actually want right now? What situation you are in that makes you wanna feel that way? It's that simple as that. Okay? Go to the root of it. Really sit down, go to the root of it. I'm serious. If you want to simplify your life, if you want to see the essentials, sit and go to the root of it. To all the activities you do right now. To all the wants, don't wants, shoulds, shouldn'ts. Because the more closer you are to the root, the more essential you become in what you want, the more in alignment you are with yourself. The more of fulfilling activities you're gonna make. Because if you feel that, if you see the real essential of what you want, it's gonna be easier to go through it. If you put all the time blockages to it and how to get there, you're never gonna get there. You're gonna just go after the blockages and saluting them. And one day you might go into one road and never go back to the actual thing that you want. And that's why so many people are unfulfilled with their lives, because they are searching for things. They are spending all their lives going for something that was actually just their interpretations how to get something they actually wanted. Because, for example, as I say, you might want, for example, independence or freedom. But freedom, for example, is like made through many different things, to the many branches, to a point where you cannot see what is actual thing you want. But the moment you discover it, it's gonna become very fun for you. And you're gonna actually start enjoying life at least a little bit, okay? Which honestly is also a minimalism. It actually have a part in it. All of those things are connected and you have no idea, okay? So when I say about minimalism, you might think, oh, what minimalism? You mean like rooms? What do you mean, like living in corporate way? Because I had people saying that. They think that minimalism is just getting rid of all the enjoyment in their life and living in the boxes and stuff put together in the futuristic way. Or many people think it's just the way of decorating your house and rooms. But they don't realize that minimalism can be also a philosophy, which is actually very interesting. And honestly, it has been very helpful for me. So if you don't understand the art, it might be easier for you to apply minimalism. So let me explain to you what minimalism is actually. As a philosophy, of course. Because some of us don't have an idea what it is. But it's actually a very interesting topic. So minimalism actually is not about materialistic stuff, and it's also not about just getting rid of all of you enjoy in your life. It's about focusing on essential things that actually brings you joy. Okay? Even in a materialistic way. You might go to your room, throw all the trash away, everything you don't use, so you can focus on things that actually bring you value. There might be stuff that, for example, are a side thing, and maybe you sometimes use it, sometimes don't. But it's not about if you will use it in the future or not, but it's about the focus. So, do it in your mind. What is the actual focus of things? What are the little things you do, think, feel but don't actually bring you something essential and fulfilling. Because minimalism, and as a philosophy, is just focusing on the essentials and getting rid of everything else that distracts you from those essentials. And you might not understand, for example, when people say less is more, because it might sound for some of you stupid. Like, what do you mean less is more? It doesn't make any sense. But it does. In what sense, you ask? Well, if you have less things to focus on, less distractions, you actually have space to focus fully on things that you actually want and care about. And that is gonna create, let me tell you, a great value in your life. Really great value in your life. If you start focusing on things that actually bring you a real value in your life. Okay? And that is also the way how to fulfill like your needs and values in life, like real wants. Okay? It's not wants, okay? It's just something you already have in you and you're searching for it, for something that resonates with what you have already in yourself. And you want to create and manifest around you as well. Okay? So I think we can end this video on this one. I honestly wanted to make a separate video for minimalism, but we'll see. Maybe I'll talk about it more. I hope this video helped you. I am very curious. What is your idea of art? Either in overall sense, what is the art of life, of universe, of what is it, everything around you? What is in your opinion the start of everything? Like what is the basic foundation for everything to exist? What is this drive that makes everything exist? In any way you want, just write it down, share it. That is all that matters to me. I just want to hear your opinions. And if not in overall sense, or if you want to say more, I also am even more curious. Honestly, I'm even more curious. What is the arc for your life? Okay? And if some of you got some kind of reflections while watching this video, I'm also really curious about what it was. Like what kind of realizations you came to, if you did, okay? About your life, about your actions. Like, I'm really curious about it, okay? So if you want, let me know down below what you think, what is the arc for you, either personally or generally, and if you came to any conclusions while at this video. Let me know if it helped you, if it brought you some perspective, or not, or if you have something to share. I'm very curious about that. If you want, you can join my Discord. It will be linked down below, either in the description or in the comments. You can also check out my Instagram. You can also check out my other channel of card readings, which I will be soon enough coming back to, as I'm very inspired to go back to it and do my card readings. And yeah, also small addition, I wanted to say that from now on I want to post more of this kind of talks video on my YouTube, as this channel is not for me something only related around telekinesis, but mostly about spirituality, as telekinesis is only a small part and branch of my spiritual journey and what I actually have to share. So thank you so much for watching, and have a nice evening, night, day, whatever it is for you right now. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.